Hi everyone, and welcome to the Breathe California Educational Podcast Series. I'm Aisha, Communications Director here at Breathe California. This podcast series is designed to educate the public on lung-related issues and to inform you on the work Breathe California is doing on a variety of topics. Today, I'll be interviewing Ashel Eldridge, Senior Educator for the Alliance for Climate Education. Breathe California is concerned about the wide range of negative impacts climate change can have on public health. Ashel will be sharing inspiring insight on how to involve the youth in reducing greenhouse gases and how all of us can take action to curb climate change too. Thank you, Ashel, for being our guest today at Breathe California and for sharing your time with our listeners. How about you tell us a little bit more about ACE, the Alliance for Climate Education, and the focus of your work with the organization?
So ACE, Alliance for Climate Education, we're a national organization created to inspire, educate, and create leadership amongst youth around the country around climate change.
So can you share on the methods that you use in educating?
So we give a multimedia presentation. It's like 45 minutes, 60 minutes long, and it's really inspiring. So we just have fun. We go into high schools. We talk about the issues from the perspective of an individual, from the youth itself, from the world of a young person in today's world. And by the end of the presentation, they see examples of peers, other students around the country, the projects they're doing, and they get inspired. And they come up and they say, well, we want to do something like this at our school, in our communities. And we create leadership trainings for them. And we, essentially create a space for them to strategize on how can they reduce waste in their schools or green up their school in different ways. And also a space to meet other student leaders who are actually going even beyond that and going to do political actions, even going down to their local council member, to city hall or whatever, to ask for banning plastic bags, things like that. So ACE is sort of just a hub, a movement hub for young folks around the country who are dedicated to fighting climate change.
And what does your outreach look like?
We're in 25, 26 cities around the country, and we've spoken to 1.5 million high school students around the country. Not personally spoken to over like 120, 130,000 high school students right here in the Bay Area.
So working with ACE, which is very much a youth-driven movement, why, in your opinion, is it in particular very important to be focusing on the youth in the dialogue on climate change?
From the ACE perspective, we realize that youth are at the crossroads of the fossil fuel economy and the new earth. Young folks particularly know that we can't continue going down the road in the same path that we've been going down. Young folks are going to be at voting age soon, and young people grow up to be adults and make decisions and choices on behalf of the entire planet, right? But also they just have solutions right now, a lot of creativity, the energy, and actually have the most invested in the future because they want opportunities and they want their voices to be heard, and they want to have a world where their passions can be realized. They want a positive life, and they want their gifts to be acknowledged in the world. So ACE is the space that uplifts the voice of the youth. Young people are like the future CEOs that create innovation. They're going to fill the universities. They're going to make music for the music industry, make films. These are the same young people we're talking to. When we talk to these audiences, we know that's who they are. So we take that seriously, and we take advantage of the opportunity that we get into so many schools to teach the climate science, such that we can build a movement with educated young people really looking at solutions from an authentic place.
In what ways have you seen the education that's presented in the presentations actually translated into real tangible change?
You plant the seed, give the presentation, and you see what sprouts from that. So when people are really passionate about something and they're really excited about something, if you focus on that and create space for that, then people value themselves more. And then therefore they're going to value the earth and value the planet. So one thing we're focused on right now is audience centricity. So that wherever you're coming from, you could be into the science or you could be an artist, whatever it is, we want to have a space for you to get your voice out and address this issue. I had a team make reusable bags out of old bandanas and t-shirts and have people bring those in and made reusable bags and sold those. Right now we have campaigns in Colorado where students are linking up with other schools and students to build a campaign around banning plastic bags in Colorado, like statewide, right? So that's a huge movement. last year we also had this competition, energy competition called Biggest Loser energy competition. So students got money, essentially. They can win a prize for looking at how much energy they could reduce in their school, their lights, appliances, things like that. We're excited that we can actually be that, hold that space in the movement.
So in addition to working with the Alliance for Climate Education, I know that you have a strong background in the arts and in music, and you're actually a frontman MC to the band Earth Amplified. Could you talk about how you apply arts and music to your work today and how much of an impact that makes?
Music has a definite strong role in social movements. But a lot of times when we start looking at organizations and, bottom line and impact, we sort of leave that out as like sort of like the frosting on the cake or the coloring. But what I do, I come in, there's a quiet audience. They like, what is this guy gonna do? I start like, let's start beatboxing. And people are like, oh, okay. Then people start paying attention, right? People get their defenses down in some way. Like, oh, okay, this is not just another professor talking to us about how the world is messed up and how the future's going down the drain or something. So it's something about the music in which you hit people in the heart. You talk to people's emotions.
And by the way, all the background music is actually from Ashel's band Earth Amplified. So thanks so much for sharing that too. And to move along, I'm sure you've heard this saying before, think globally, act locally. So what are some examples of local actions that community members can practice in their everyday lives to curb climate change?
Well, a lot of young folks are suffering from asthma, for example. So we make a connection between that and a refinery that's in our neighborhood. When I present, I definitely talk about the diesel trucks that are going through their neighborhood or their homes, the smog in connection with asthma and cancer. So we sort of just connect some dots, and young people sort of use their creativity and actually apply it to what's going on in their communities. So we don't have a be-all answer. We mostly just present the information, the science, and show you examples of what other stuff young folks are doing around the country. And then we have the DOT campaign. So anybody can start from anywhere. If they're not consider themselves an activist or environmentalist, that's fine, right? We just want people to look at it like, okay, I can definitely do this or that. I can definitely bring a reusable water bottle. Because I think really one of the enemies to combating climate change is apathy. Like, well, I can't really do anything about it. Who am I to do anything about it? So we started the DOT campaign for that reason. Looking at what one thing you can do right now, today, the easy, simple, on-ramp, easy step to get involved in the movement. So the DOT campaign means do one thing. Well, what one thing can you do to help the environment, help cool the climate? So that's one thing we do. For wherever you're at, you can do a DOT. And a DOT essentially, it could be like eating less meat, it could be carpooling, it could be, there's millions of DOTs. Anything you're already doing, but just doing it in a green way. Taking shorter showers. Just taking on a pledge to say, I'm gonna do something different this time. So that's the DOT campaign. We want to put them in the driver's seat. We want to say like, yo, you are in control of your destiny.
In your opinion, what makes the Alliance for Climate Education really effective in addressing climate change?
When we talk about climate change, we talk about the green economy and all these things. Some people are like, oh, it's an interesting idea. But the more we can make it something that it comes from them, the easier it is for us all to like see that happening and see that future that we all want to create. So that's why it's really strategic and really like an opportune and one of the most amazing organizations, I think, nationally that's dealing with climate change, because we're focused on the young folks. And because we directly understand that apathy is the biggest enemy, right? Not only just in us, we know that young people have a big influence on their whole family structure. So when they come home, they're like, wow, mom, we need to stop doing this and start doing that. Parents listen to their teenagers, right? Even if they don't want to. So I feel like that's why I feel like ACES is really at the nexus of really exploding this movement to a whole nother level and really putting the young folks in the driver's seat.
Wow, thank you so much, Ashel, for the powerful work you do in the community with the Alliance for Climate Education. And thank you for being our guest today and sharing your time with our listeners. My name is Aisha, and this concludes our podcast, Youth in Action Against Climate Change. Thank you for tuning in to Breathe California Educational Podcast Series, and make sure to check out our website at ggbreathe.org.